So I just finished watching Hawks versus Bucks, and I thought it was kind of an interesting game, and I wanted to just get on here and talk about it. I wanted to talk first about the Hawks side, and I live in Atlanta. I would love to see the Hawks do good. I'm not like an outward Hawks fan, but it'd be cool to have a good team where I live. But my friends kind of know me as a Trae Young hater, which is not true. I'm not a Trae Young hater. If he does well, I would love to give him props, and I think he's very talented. And just because he's an offensive superstar and not a two-way superstar doesn't mean he's not really valuable. I mean, like, having an offensive superstar and a guy you can run your entire offense through is what a lot of teams search for 10 years. Like, look at the Pistons and teams like that. But my problem with Trae Young really is a little bit of the Steph Curry effect, where it's like, if your shots aren't going down, what are you doing for me? And I'm not to the point with Trae Young where I'm like, yeah, if it's like he's not going to be able to be a great playoff performer because if his shot doesn't go down, he can't do anything. But right now, he's not doing anything. But he is capable of taking over a game with his playmaking. His real player comparison, which people have kind of come around to now that he's been in the league for a little bit longer, is really Steve Nash. Like, the way he moves, the way he manipulates defenses, especially when teams go to like that flex zone defense. He just reminds me of a modern day Steve Nash. But the big difference there is Steve Nash could take over games with bulk playmaking, for lack of a better term. He could really just change the tide of a game by getting his teammates 5 straight open shots. And even if his teammates just hit 2 or 3 of them, that could be 6, 8, 9 points, whatever, because a lot of them are threes, especially back in that Suns offense. And Trae Young is capable of that, but he's not quite there yet. He doesn't quite get to the point where when his shot's not falling, he's like, all right, I should just stop shooting at least until the fourth quarter and to see if I can take over a game another way, because he's totally capable of it. But tonight wasn't the case. I believe he probably shot like 3 of 17 or something like that. I'm recording this right before the end of the game because it's over. Atlanta is not going to come back. But in regards to the rest of the team, it was obviously a great Bogdanovich performance. He's been awesome just this whole year since he's gotten healthy, and the Hawks in general, just since they've gotten healthy, have been a much better team. A lot of people are pointing to Nate McMillan as like the reason they turned it around, and he probably has been doing something, but my eyes don't really see them playing any different, Like, it seems like they're running the same shit, the same sets, so they were running with Lloyd Pierce. It just seems like they're healthy now. But it also kind of seems like they're playing harder and with a little more energy, so maybe the guy's just like playing for Nate better. I mean, he's been around for a long time. He probably knows how to be a therapist, for lack of a better term, because so much of NBA coaching is like dealing with personalities and dealing with actually being on the road for 8 months out of the year and like having crazy shit to do every single day. So maybe that's where he shines, and that's what this team needed. So, but one major problem that this game really illuminated for the Hawks is that outside of Capella, they're not very big. Like, they are not a team that will overpower you physically. And when you look at the elite of the elite teams, the Bucks being one of them, the Lakers, the Sixers, even the Nets, even the Clippers, they can go small, but they can also go big. And in the era of small ball that we're in now, and space and pace, all that fun stuff, the Lakers won the championship last year being bigger and stronger than everybody. Being big and having size is still very valuable in the game of basketball, and it's become somewhat undervalued. And it's no wonder the best teams in the league have capability of going small and big. Because there was just points in the game, especially in that third quarter, when the Bucks really kind of got some separation, where they were just the tougher team. They were more physical. They were forcing a lot of Atlanta turnovers. Trae Young shots like started to kind of go in the third quarter, but even with that, you just saw a stronger, better coached and more experienced team beat up on a team that wasn't quite ready in that third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, the Hawks gave it a run. They didn't just roll over and die, but Milwaukee wasn't losing that game. There was no way. Real quick on the Bucks, I think this is a solid win for them. I think they've been really good all year and really under the radar just because of their last year's playoff disappointment. I guess the NBA Twitter sphere is counting them out, which I don't think we should do. Drew Holiday, just watching him, not even looking at the numbers, is just so much better than Eric Bledsoe. He really adds another dimension to this team that, especially when Giannis isn't on the floor, like they're still really hard to guard. They still have shot makers all over the place. Brook Lopez, if Brook Lopez can like get back to where he was like a knockdown 3-point shooter, this team could be a dark horse to really come out of the East. I mean, I guess they are a dark horse to come out of the East, and if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. I think they match up well with Brooklyn. They're big enough to compete with them on both sides of the court, and they have defenders that are athletic enough and quick enough to guard on the perimeter. And then Philly, it would be a slugfest. It would be a really ugly series. But I don't necessarily think Philly has the upper hand in that series. I wouldn't say Milwaukee has the upper hand either. I just think that's a really even matchup. And if that's the 2-3 matchup, that's great for Brooklyn because that series is probably going to go 7, and then whoever gets out of the Philly versus Milwaukee series is going to be dead tired when they play Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's probably just going to sweep the floor with them at that point. So yeah. Oh, and also that commercial they kept showing for that magic trick show, Big Trick Energy. Yo, that is such a cringy title that I couldn't watch that. You wouldn't never catch me watching that. And of course, Chris Webber just loves it.